Okay. I introed the last one, so it's all you, baby.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Cologne Podcast.
Sorry. I was just thinking about how you're like, I'm going to turn around. We're going to be too close to each other, so we may want to be chill on this. And then you're like, ah!
Well, everybody, welcome to the Cologne Podcast. Me and Mike are actually having to do this back to back like we're in Vietnam trying to keep from going to sleep in the middle of a jungle. So we had a Zoom meeting the other day, so we had to set up our setup to be facing each other.
Yeah, we're not in the normal podcast setup.
Yeah, I'm not even wearing headphones, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because all we're doing is introing something. We're giving you a time machine back to the past.
Yes, we've invented a time machine. We're going back in the past. Pre-COVID. And no, I'm not talking about 2019. I'm talking about before
you and I both got COVID.
Yeah, both got COVID. Both got our asses kicked. I'm still deaf in my right ear for over a month now. It really kind of sucks. But we're going to be introing this, letting you have fun. It's a little thing we did with Steve. It's a three-part
series, yes.
That's right. Each one of these episodes are going to be 2 hours long. It's a trilogy like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. You thought Star Wars was long. Here you go.
No, we're kidding. They're all decently short. It's okay. That's me closing my coffee. No.
Oh, is that a Kojo Roastery?
It is a Kojo Roastery. Thank you, Kojo Roastery. We're not sponsored, but he sent us some coffee.
He's a friend of the podcast.
That's right.
We're loving him because he loves us.
That's right. And it is good coffee.
Okay, without further ado, because Ryan's going to talk on and on about his Vietnam stories and all that other shit, let's just get into it, okay? We're bringing in Steve.
All right, without any further introduction, here's Steve. Back to the show.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Caught you mid-drink there. Sorry.
That's right.
I don't know if it's my ego. I was expecting a slightly longer intro. I don't know what I was expecting. Like, I've not got a big biography, but I thought it would be longer than sort of 1.5 seconds.
Steve, you may know him from such hits as...
Yeah.
I turn. I'm looking at the screen. He's got like a jug of milk he's chugging over here.
Well, this is the first time we've talked in length since the somber episode, which you were kind of my accomplice in on that. So what did you think about that episode?
I fucking loved that. That was brilliant. Well, I sent you a message, didn't I? Because when I saw it was up, I was like, oh, I'm actually excited to listen to this. And then when I heard the intro, I then sent you a message going, oh, I'm so excited because you were like building it up.
Yeah.
And I knew it was going to be bad. It is. Like, it's funny that you said like it makes Secretions Magnifique smell sort of passable. Do you know what I mean?
It really does.
It's kind of like it is next level bad. But the thing is, I don't think we included this conversation on the last podcast I did with you guys. But I got sent that sample. The guy that I get my samples from, it's a big sample company in the UK, and he sent me some stuff, and then he sent me one just labeled like secret scent or something like that.
Oh my God.
And at the time, it was not long after Mr. Smelly, Dan Norton, had released his fragrance, Gravitas Pour Homme. And I know that Greg, who runs the sample company, is mates with Dan. So I genuinely thought he'd sent me a sample of Gravitas, but like didn't tell me what it was and was just getting my... So I sprayed it on skin straight away.
Oh my God.
And I was really trying to like it. I was like, oh, that's not good. I was like, nah, come on, just stick with it. And I didn't record anything, but I was smelling it. I was thinking, nah, I just can't. I've got to give it a chance. Because I kept thinking it was the Gravitas Pour Homme by Norton and Wilson. And in the end, I was like, I can't. And then the wife got home and I was like, smell that. And she smelled it and she's like, oh shit, you've got to wash that off. I was like, yeah, I've got to. And then I like recorded, I told the story. I shared the story actually on my YouTube channel. And then Greggy Boy 76, he's also a YouTuber. He thought it was fucking hilarious that he absolutely stitched me up on that.
God, it's amazing. I really wish everyone who's going to smell that would smell it blind, not know what it was, just going in.
Yeah, it was.
Ryan disagrees apparently.
Yeah, I do disagree because I'm going to tell you, he really kept this from me and made it a big deal. And when I'm like, hey, I kind of got a little suspicious. I'm like, is it something that smells god awful? You better tell me now. And he's like, I don't know. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
So
you should. I'm sure you knew.
I had a feeling. I was skittish of it, honestly. But honestly, from the bottom of my heart, both y'all can take a long hydraulic suck because I was pissed about that. That shit is disgusting, for real.
The thing is, I went in. I was just like you, though, mate, to be fair, because I sprayed straight on skin. I was just like, right, straight on. I did like 3 sprays, I think, on my arm, thinking it was Gravitas Pro whatever. I was like, yeah. And it was like, I kept thinking, I was trying to look for things in it going, perhaps it's quite earthy and that. I was trying to and in the end it was like, no, I can't take it. I've got to wash it off.
Did it make you sick? Because it literally physically made us sick. It made me for sure. It was disgusting.
I really struggled with it. I really struggled. And then the wife, she couldn't take it. I mean, I sort of stuck with it for a little bit. I mean, I had it on my arm for fucking hell, over 30 minutes. Like, I don't know if it was like getting on for an hour. I sprayed it and I left it on. I was like, I've got to try and get through this.
Yeah, I got home.
It was really bad.
I got home and I was telling my wife, I was like, man, Mike really fucked me over today. It was like a Batman origin story. I was like, I don't know when or how, but I'm going to get that son of a bitch.
I've got no doubt. Honestly, it's more payback than anything because Ryan has made my life a living hell for the last 10 years. So fuck you, Ryan. You deserve that. But on to bigger and better things.
Yes, let's smell something good today, hopefully.
Well, hopefully. I feel like at least it can't get much worse, can it? Surely.
Yeah, so to let the listeners in, Steve spent a month's salary sending this over. He shot us this sample because unfortunately at the time, myfragrancesamples.com had done a big sale and was sold out of a lot of stuff, and this being one of them. We couldn't get our hands on it.
Yeah.
So you shipped it over to us. And
I had to lie and pretend it was a Christmas ornament because you just can't send fragrances outside the UK. Well, you can in some circumstances, but it's fucking hard work. So so I just lied. She was like, oh, what is it? I was like, oh, it's just an orange. She's like, oh, Christmas ornament. I was like, yeah, that'll do. I said it was like a figure. I think I said it was like a little figurine type thing.
Yeah, a little nutcracker.
She's like, oh, like a Christmas ornament. I was like, yeah. So she just did that and then charged me like fucking £15 just to send it over.
Here we go.
Ridiculous. So you're going on paper. Oh, you've not actually said what it is. You need to tell people what it is.
Yeah, so it's the Chronic by Byron Parfums.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
All right, we're going to do both. Spray it on the skin, spray it on the card.
Cool. So while you're doing that, I think anybody that knows me knows that this is one of my favourite fragrances of all time. I absolutely love it. I've been banging on about it for a long, long time.
Oh, yeah. This is in my wheelhouse. I think you'd said previously that I would probably like it and Ryan would probably not.
Because there's some sweetness to it.
For sure.
I know that Ryan's not too into the sort of sweeter fragrances.
It does remind me a little bit of Gentle Fluidity Gold a little bit. That's sweet, kind of powdery.
Yeah. Man,
that's good.
This is... I haven't put the card or my hand up to my nose. This smells really good, and it's blasting off.
The performance on it is exceptional performance. Like, really? You don't need 2-3 sprays max, I would say. And the funny thing is, it gets a sort of bit stronger. You spray it on and then you think, 2 or 3 sprays enough, but then after about 15-20 minutes it really starts kicking out and then you really start smelling it, and it lasts all day.
Have you smelled Herba Pura by Xerjoff, Steve?
No, I have not. I've not smelled anything from Xerjoff.
I recommend you start with that one because it also is in a similar vein. I'm not saying it's exact, but if you like this type of fragrance, I think you'll really like that one too.
I think the performance definitely adds to this. The fact that I love the smell, but the fact that if I ever want a fragrance that will last all day and will project, I think this is what I reach for. If I'm out all day going outside, then this is it. But it's unisex, so I don't know where you stand if you think how masculine or feminine it is, but it's marketed as a unisex fragrance.
It feels a little more masculine to me. There's some dryness to it for me that makes it feel a little more on the masculine side.
That'd be the sandalwood probably.
I'm going to say this real quick because going through Fragrantica, and by the way, this thing trends off the charts. It's like very popular. I can see why. But for some reason, it may sound kind of contradictory to everything we've ever talked about previously on some of these episodes, like hating like bubblegum stuff.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But this has not that sweet, like young bubblegum. I know it sounds so stupid, young bubblegum kind of smell, but it has some type of gum smell to it. But man, it smells incredible to me. This smells badass.
I'm really pleased you like it, Ryan. I'm really pleased.
I'm really shocked.
It's funny, isn't it? Because it is like... I really struggle to describe that sweetness to it because it is sort of bubblegummy, but like you say, it's not juvenile, it's not like sickly sweet.
No.
And I don't really know where it comes from because if you look at the note breakdown, I think it might be the cinnamon that's kind of like this gourmandy sweetness, but basically it's like musk and sandalwood are the main notes, and I think there might be cinnamon or something in there as well.
When I'm smelling it, there's like, I'm careful to say herbal, but it reminds me of a certain tree. Like it's almost like a sharp.
Yeah, I know where you're going.
There's something in there that like I can smell. It's not like earthy, but it reminds me of a certain tree. I can't remember which one.
Does it smell like the spearmint gum that we were chewing
I was about to say,
night?
it's like almost a mint, but it's not a mint.
Yeah, it's not a mint, but it's almost like that we were chewing spearmint gum coming home yesterday, but it smells like that a little bit. It's very clean to me.
But it's not minty, but
no, it's not minty. It's not minty.
This is why we need to learn notes so we can go, you know, oh yeah, it has the freesia in it.
No, I know. The thing is, in all honesty, I know this fragrance pretty damn well because I've gone through nearly a whole bottle of it. But I sort of struggle to break the notes down because it's... The sweetness really confuses me because quite often you get that sweetness from like benzoin or benzoin, as some people say.
Right.
But there's none of that there. And it's not like... It's not got any other typically sweet notes other than maybe the cinnamon in there that gives it. But and as I said, it's not a sickly sweetness. It's quite a sort of really smooth, rich, almost sophisticated sweetness to it. So I really struggle to kind of break it down. The sandalwood adds some quite nice smoothness, but I really struggle to break this fragrance down. And I think it's so smooth and well blended as well.
For sure.
That doesn't, you can't sort of necessarily pick out individual kind of aspects. Some people say it's kind of got this vanilla in there, but I don't think there's anything officially listed. I don't really get a vanilla, but yeah, it's a strange fragrance, but I do absolutely adore it.
Yeah, it's kind of messing with my mind a little bit because I think it's like you were kind of saying, you know, if somebody makes like an amazing stew, right?
Yeah.
Like all the flavors kind of mixed together. When you taste the broth, like there's carrots and celery and, you know, beef fat and you know, potatoes and all that kind of makes this one thing, and it has a distinct flavor, but it's comprised of so many other flavors.
Yeah. God.
It's trippy. It almost has the same mintiness that like Lamal has to me in there.
But it's different, but it's there. That's crazy.
It's funny. I've never thought of mint, like spearmint at all, but I can kind of see what you're getting. It might be, there's patchoulis listed. So that might be the more sort of leafy sort of vibe that you're getting.
Yeah, there is something in there, but it's not like poking out really hard. It's just like something that adds like that interesting little something to it.
I think what's really confused me too is like when we first were spraying this just a second ago, it almost came off gourmandish in a sense. It almost smelled like caramel or something. I don't know, but it was loud. It was a pretty smell. But I was like, man, I'm probably not going to like it. But then as it immediately started coming down and it was like more of this, like the dryness you're talking about, I'm like, man, this does smell really good. Yeah. This is done well.
When everything was away from my nose and I sprayed it for the first time, I immediately got like grape juice and cotton candy just for a second.
Yeah.
But like I can tell once it like chills on your skin, it's just an interesting smell.
This is pretty badass.
It's obviously quite mass appealing. I think not many people are going to actively dislike it. I think some people might kind of say, oh, it's too sweet or something like that if you're a bit more of a frag head. But I don't think the average Joe person, if you were wearing it, nobody's going to sort of dislike it, to be honest.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
But it's obviously very unique. You're not, and that's another thing I love about it is that nobody's wearing this fragrance, really, relatively speaking. Do you know what I mean? So,
Steve, you and I were talking about this fragrance at one time, and I was asking, because it's called the Chronic, I assumed it was going to be something like Oud for Happiness and have like some sort of marijuana, hemp sort of a thing tied to it. But you were telling me it was just more that it's so addictive that he was calling it the Chronic, right?
Yeah, I don't know who told me that. I've not officially, I don't know who told me that. I think it might have been Chris, actually, from Fragmental. I think he might have told it because he's spoken more to the guys at Byron. I've spoken to him a bit. But yeah, I think the main reason is there is no, like you say, there's no hemp, there's no marijuana kind of notes or chords like that, but it's supposedly quite an addictive kind of smell.
For sure.
So that's why I think it was called the Chronic, which you can see why.
Yeah.
It is just so yummy. I love it.
Do you really chronically go around smelling yourself?
It's just a fragrance I really enjoy. So I'm curious to see where you guys fit, like I say, because it is unisex. So would you both happily wear this?
Yes,
I would.
I would.
My next question is: Would you like your other halves to wear it? You know, do you think it'd work on them? Would you enjoy it, or do you think that might be
for my wife? Yes, because she wears. I keep telling him this, but she wears Mon Guerlain. I don't know if you ever smelled that for women.
Mate, I love that fragrance.
It's a great fragrance.
Is amazing.
I almost feel like a man could wear it sometimes because if she ever walks past me, it smells like a tobacco shop in a sense, and I love it. It reminds me of that at least. So yeah, I feel like she could wear this, and I would fucking love it.
See, to me, it feels more masculine. And for that, on a woman, I'd have to smell it on a woman. Let's say at first blush, I would say it's a little masculine.
Yeah.
And I feel like the ladies could get away with something a lot sweeter. And this is a perfect blend for a dude to wear that isn't like crazy sweet, but really has the sweet appeal to it. Like it's everything that I like about Gentle Fluidity Gold by MFK, but it's amplified into a better direction for men. I really like this.
It's really badass. And honestly, the more I'm trying to keep it away from me and just let it kind of air out around me, it has a different smell away from me than it does up close because it is kind of quite strong. But man, this thing smells incredible from a distance. Like it smells different. But more of this, when I'm smelling it away, it does kind of fit more of a man to me.
Here's what I'm worried now because we really do. I can tell Ryan really likes it and I really like it. You're going to fucking hate Greenlee now and I'm going to feel like a complete idiot.
Yeah, so we've not told everybody what our plans are we? So basically, we wanted to do an episode where we sort of do some smelling rather than sort of just a chat or an interview.
Right.
So it wasn't like a big idea as such. It sort of came out quite organically, didn't we? Because I wanted you guys to smell this fragrance because I love it. And then after our last conversation, you were sort of hyping Greenlee, and I know Ryan really likes Mancera's red tobacco, so I went and got samples of those. So I'm going to smell those now. And so we're kind of basically all smelling each other's favourite fragrances, sort of, or at least fragrances that we've hyped, at least.
Yes.
To see kind of where we stand.
I think he's going to prefer Greenlee over red tobacco.
You think
based off of this? Yes.
Okay. Well, we'll get into those in a second. We'll round this out. This will be, our episode for this, and then we'll jump in and do that episode. But I'd like to ask, we'll start with Steve. I know you've listened to enough episodes now, hopefully, to where we do a little section of who's wearing this.
Yeah.
I'm curious what you think as far as who is if there was an avatar of the person wearing this fragrance, who do you think it'd be?
See, I picture, and now I wear this a lot, so I need to say that I've not got aspirations that this is me, because it's not, but when I smell it, actually I've got the official note listing, so before just to inform people. Just kind of shout out what the actual notes are. So top notes that are listed are cinnamon. I'm trying to get them off of the Byron website, so it is. So we've got pepper and cinnamon. So I think one of you did say sort of peppery or sort of spicy. So pepper and cinnamon in the top. In the mid, there's amber, leather, and patchouli, and in the base notes is the sandalwood and musk and white musk. So that's why I sort of really struggle to kind of break this down. So I can sort of maybe get a slight hint of leather, but I don't know if that just adds a sort of extra bit of depth to it.
Yeah.
But it's so well blended. I really struggle with this. But for me, when I smell this, I can picture I don't imagine like a teenager. I don't think this is like a young lad. I picture somebody that's a cool guy that's got his shit together. He's probably like mid-30s, but he's like a cool guy. You can almost imagine him, a nice hairdo, leather jacket or something like that. He's just a cool guy, perhaps this is what I would like to be, and that's why I wear it, because I'm definitely not. But probably in a sort of trendy bar or something like that, who just looks quite cool. Like a guy, mid-30s, that sort of touch. That's what I sort of picture.
It could have been me until you said great hairdo.
I think this is somebody that's very distinguished, actually. I think it's very distinguished. I even want to say probably older than 30, maybe even a younger guy, but he's got he's already completely gray-headed, very eccentric.
Oh, okay.
I could see it fitting that. I really could see both. To me, this is very top shelf, and I was going to say, like, this is a great way to do a mass-appealing niche fragrance.
I agree.
Because it does have some of the things I could see that you could really like off of, say, Le Male or even 1 Million or something like that. There's like that kind of attitude, but then there's something that's more elegant in there that makes it kind of the next level. The better version.
I agree, man.
It is like, it was my first ever niche fragrance, and it is like a nice sort of gateway into niche. In general, Byron Parfums are quite accessible in that regard, that they've got really good quality, really well blended, but they're not so fucking weird or wonderful or challenging. They're different, and they're sort of quite a lot going on, but I would never describe hardly any of them that I've smelled as challenging, which is quite nice.
Right.
But yeah, I can see what you mean, maybe with like an older guy, again, still quite a cool guy, but like you say, probably like a George Clooney type guy who's greying but looks good with it. Yes. Rocking that sophisticated look, and like, still very much got sex appeal. You know?
Have you seen the hipster Santas?
Oh God, no.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
kind of like that guy. Yeah.
God. I'll make sure to Google
where
it.
It's like it's a Santa, but he's like really thin and he's like dressed really nice. Then he's got like a pompadour and like just nicely shaped
or whatever.
Yeah.
You're ruining this for me.
Oh, this is great. I love it. And honestly, thinking about you, Steve, and kind of how you really like some of the more designer down the middle of the road, it makes sense why this would be one of your top sort of niche fragrances that you've liked, kind of based on what you've said you've liked other fragrances.
Totally. Yeah, I've always said that I'm not looking to smell challenging. The complex is fine, but I don't want it to be a challenge. I want to enjoy it. I just want to smell good ultimately. And I don't wear fragrances for compliments, but if I get a compliment, then I think that's a Brucey bonus. So I think, for me, this is the sort of fragrance I like. That it's really good quality, it smells really good. Other people like it. I just love the smell of it. So this is a winner for me. So I'm well chuffed that you two like it. I did think it might sort of be slightly divisive. I didn't think it would be as unanimous. So I'm really pleased. Yeah,
well, and I was going to say this earlier, but Ryan is kind of a conundrum because he'll say he doesn't like these sweet sort of things, but then when you smell red tobacco, I feel like this is close in the vein to red tobacco, not in like scent profile, but in sweetness. Yeah. Where like there's a little bit of sweetness there, but it's not crazy sweet. Yeah. And I could see where Ryan would like this, but at the same time, he's so pissy about other things that I just never know from day to day. Sometimes I'm like, oh, you're going to love this. And then he hates it. And then sometimes I'm like, I really like this. And he's like, you know what? I actually like it too. Who knows?
Well, what I love about Ryan's reactions to some of the things you smell is they'll change quite dramatically throughout a 30-minute podcast episode. Like he'll start off and be like, nah, I'm not feeling this. And then it could be like, no, actually, I'm kind of like this. And then at the end, it's like a toss of a coin. It'd be like, no, I'm really digging this now. Or no,
this
I don't
is
like
a total
it. I hate it. Yeah, it's just, I love that. It makes it, you never know what you're going to get. So
it may show how persuasive I am or how much influence I have on the end. I'm like arguing it. No, Ryan, you really need to like this.
Yeah. Well, then let me ask this then, guys. Let me ask this. Buy it.
Skip.
Oh, sorry.
What the fuck? How many times have you done this? 150 times?
Sample it.
Skip it. God, you fucked this all up. Hold on.
I mean, let's redo this.
Yeah. All right. Let me ask you, are you going to skip it?
Did I say sample it a second ago too? So I went from buy it to sample it.
What are you like, fucking dyslexic?
Oh, hell.
Smooth. Well, how many episodes are you guys in?
Like 150. 150,000. I don't know. Who's counting?
Good God. Skip it.
Sample it.
Buy it.
What are you going to do, Ryan?
What are you going to do, Steve?
Well, I've got my bottle right next to me, so I've bought it, and when I'm already planning on getting another bottle, I've got the original bottle, so mine's the old style. I want to get one of the new ones, but I definitely want to get another bottle for when this goes. So 100% buy it for me, though the prices have gone up since I bought it last.
I would recommend getting it before you finish that one, so you always have a little bit of just in case some reformation things have happened. Yeah. Formulation things.
What do you think? You going to buy it? You going to skip it?
I mean, given if my finances prosper well in 2022, I could see this as a buy for me for sure.
I'm in the same boat. for sure, if financially we're doing good here in 2022, yes, this would be a for sure buy for me. It's pretty badass. I'm actually shocked.
I mean, we run across a lot of fragrances where we go, oh, we really like this, but it's still a sample because it's like, it's a good fragrance, but there's nothing in the fragrance really arguing to have it and to own it. But since this is so like unique in a way, but still so appealing, it's rare that you come across something that is so appealing, but then also has this really interesting characteristic to it that makes it kind of a one-of-a-kind thing. And there's something going on in there. I can see why people say it's addictive, because it really is enjoyable.
It is. I love it. So thank you for sending us this, by the way, and recommending us to smell it, because this is great. So 2 thumbs up from us, man.
But I'm well chuffed that you guys love it. We've not mentioned the price, so I'm obviously for your side of the pond. I'm on crystalfragrance.com. They've increased the bottle sizes. So I think mine was originally a 50ml, but they're now up to like 75ml bottles, I think, and they're retailing at $235. So it's not cheap. I'm sure you could probably get it cheaper some way, and perhaps in the Facebook groups or something. I don't know. But so for that, just for the price point of view, I'd always be nervous recommending somebody who sort of blind buys it. So I'd always say, if people are thinking about it, maybe get a sample. But me personally, defo buy it.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, and there are plenty of ways, I'm sure, to get your hands on samples. I'm sure through the guide that you use, it's probably available. I know through Mark and myfragrancesamples.com, we've planned on getting a sample of this multiple times. It just, when we went to actually get it, he was sold out, because I think he did like a Black Friday sale and got fucking wiped out. So he's building stock back again. But I know there's plenty of ways to go and sample this, and I would highly recommend it if you're really into kind of, not really, I hate to say middle of the road, but if you're into some of the fragrances that are on the sweeter side, I really think this is one that people should try. I really do.
I agree.
Man, if you like sweet fragrances but don't want girly, sickly sweet or juvenile sweet.
Yes.
Can I just ask, where or when would you guys wear this? Like, do you think it's all year round, or sort of seasonal?
And honestly, it would be an all year round for me.
I think so too. Yeah, I think if it was spicier, then maybe end of the year sort of a thing. But for me, this is so balanced in the direction of it has that not really minty, but almost some sort of greenish. No. It's hard to describe what it has, because it's like a new scent. Like, I haven't smelled it, but it reminds me of a few things. But it has that kind of pokes out. And then the sweetness is just, it's so well-rounded. It's a trip, man.
There may be somebody out there that may be able to answer this, what I'm about to say, but there's something about it when I'm keeping it from me, like keeping it from a distance here.
Yeah.
But there's something about it. I feel like at some point in my life in the 90s, when I've like been at church and like a distinguished older gentleman walked by, I don't know how churches are around there, but churches here in the South, like people kind of go all out when they show up to church. They're wearing their best. They smell like $1 million. And I can remember kind of smelling something like this and really liking it then.
Yeah.
It's got something very distinguishable about it that seems just like, I don't know, proper. I don't know. It just seems badass. I don't know if it's emulating something that's been made before, is what I'm trying to get at.
I don't know. And that's the beauty of this fragrance. It's hard to point it out and say, oh, it reminds me of this or that. Yeah. But it's like an amalgamation of all these great things that are out there. And it's just kind of like it congealed into one beautiful Jell-O mold.
I feel like we sent him crap for his part.
Oh no, yeah.
Man, this does really smell good, man. I'm impressed with this.
I'm well chuffed, because as I say, I wasn't sure. I thought it might divide you. Some people are into the sweet and some not, but I think it's so well balanced. So I'm really chuffed that you guys love it.
As strong as it is, I'm glad we have a little bit left in this decant.
Exactly.
We'll get a couple of good variants out of it.
Yeah, the sprayer on those sample bottles are not too bad, and as I say, you don't need much, so you can probably just get away with like 2 sprays around your neck and you'll probably be good. So you probably get a few wearings out of that, hopefully. So let me know how you get on.
For sure.
Steve, again, thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for bringing this. This is part 1. For anybody listening, we will be putting up a part 2, so get ready for that. And until then, spray it up, y'all.
Spray it up, y'all.